I'd like to call the Livingston County Board meeting of Thursday, May 11th to order at 6 p.m. We will have the invocation by Pastor Jan Ambrose. Please, Jan.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. Holy Father, we come to you this evening in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, your Son and our Lord and Savior, to honor you. In the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 1, "And Jesus spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint." We lift to you our faithful board of directors, Father, as we with them pray, as Jesus told us to, in Luke chapter 11, verse 2. "And Jesus said unto them, When you pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven, holy be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as it is in heaven, so in earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that has sinned against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen."
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Ambrose. Now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, led by John Vitztum.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Christy, if we could have roll call, please.
Sure. Vietti.
Here.
Egg.
Present.
Fair.
Present.
Manker.
Present.
Berkman.
Here.
Ambrose.
Here.
Fannin.
Present.
Myers.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Mays.
Here.
Weller. Here. Fitztum.
Here.
Blackard.
Present.
Herring.
Here.
Welch.
Present.
Carly.
Present.
Lovell.
Here.
Ritter.
Present.
Thank you, Christy. We have the agenda in front of us. I think we're sticking to what we have there, so I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
In a second. A motion by Lovell, second by Ritter. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll also need the approval of the minutes. You should have a copy of those. And moved by Herring,
Second by Blackard.
second by Blackard. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move down to presentation. We have a presentation by the Livingston County Farm Bureau. So if you want to come forward with that, please, Chris. And help.
Good evening. Chris Bunting, manager at Livingston County Farm Bureau, and joining with me tonight is Brenda Collins and Sarah Horner. Their family's farm in Livingston County, farmland owners, and members of the Livingston County Farm Bureau Board of Directors. Last month at your April meeting, you adopted a resolution acknowledging your support of Livingston County agriculture and its value to our local economy and rural communities by expressing support for the continued growth and development of agriculture within our county. Livingston County Farm Bureau leaders would now like to recognize you as the board, as an ally in agriculture after this board's adoption of a pro-ag resolution. County elected officials across the state are showing their support as you did for the state's largest industry. In recognition for your support of agriculture, I'm here to, on behalf of the farmers, farmland owners, and ag businesses across the county to present this plaque to you as an ally in agriculture. If Chairman Carly, would you come down and accept this? We'd like to present this plaque to you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank the Farm Bureau very much for the plaque and appreciate your acknowledgement. We sure appreciate you. Moving along, we'll move to the consent agenda. We have approval of the bills, and we have the appointment of several members to their districts, commissions, boards. So I think we can do all this in one roll call vote.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Fannin, second by Haig. We'll have to have the roll call. Christie?
Vieti.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Bidston.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's move to our action agenda, committee reports. Up first will be Ag and Zoning Committee, Gerald Herring. Each one of these will individually have a roll call vote, so we'll do those one at a time. So, Mr. Herring?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to start out tonight. We've got 5 cases in front of us. We've got zoning case SU-1-23 Livingston Stone Company. Is anybody, Jesse, or is anybody here with the company? Chris?
Yeah, I'm Chris Maddock, M-A-T-I-C-H, 817 McClellan Street, M-C capital C-L-E-L-L-A-N, in Chinook is where I live. And we've been going through this process now for multiple months now, and what it's for is to expand or continue Livingston Stone, is what it is. The company's been in business since 1941. We are not your typical stone quarry per se. We produce products for animal feed. It looks like table salt basically, and it's a calcium product for animal feed. And we're very unique. We're not prairie materials, we're not Valley View, nothing like that. We go through property very, very slowly because we're not going through that much rock a year basically. I've been there since 1989, and we probably go through at the current rate maybe 8 to 10 acres a year probably is all we go through. Very, very minimal. Employ 13 people, and our customers range from, you all heard of Carina Mills, things like that. We get into Canada, Wisconsin, Indiana, of course Illinois obviously, with a, like I said, a very fine agricultural limestone product. That's what we're known for. And this is going to continue our process. We're still operating to the east of us right now. We probably have 2 to 3 years to the east of us yet to go before we're finished up there. We're reclaiming that ground as we go. We've got roughly 40 acres reclaimed back to farm ground behind us there. And we were happy with it. We did 170 last year for corn. The ground wasn't completely finished yet, but the farmer wanted to get in and plant right behind us, so he did. We'll keep improving on that for sure. And then once we get farther along in the process, we'll go across the road and start working around that pond mat. So you guys probably been by there a million times probably. And we'll start taking a few acres around that pond in sections. We want to get that south end of that property done first. The county has got the crossing working there already. That's in the bid for that Coit Blacktop getting redone. And once again, this is just our next step of staying in existence, basically. So, as I've been there since 1941, and it's still family owned, and look forward to many more years there, for sure.
Okay. That's about what he has to say, and it's approved a land extension onto what he's doing now. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Haig,
Second.
second by, is that Ritter? By Ritter. Any discussion?
I do have one question. What percentage of your business would you say is in the borders of Illinois? Just a
Yeah,
ballpark.
I would say probably a good 80%, 75% probably. And we were far more than that in the past, when we used to supply ag line for the coal power plants in the area. And of course, with the Green New Deal, that's all gone away and all that. So that took a big hit for us there for sure, because they were burning our limestone with Illinois coal to take the sulfur out of it. And all that went away. So, years ago, that was just tremendous out of there for sure. But now it's all just the animal feed side right now. And I would say Illinois first, Indiana, and then Wisconsin probably. Yeah.
Becca, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just noticed that, there were a couple objectors
Yeah,
during the ZBA
yeah,
hearings,
yep.
and I see in the draft conditions of approval that they have addressed all of the concerns that the objectors had as far as
Yes.
the dust and all that, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will be voting yes, because they did answer those
Oh, thank you.
questions and stuff, so,
Sure.
thank you.
Anybody else? Christie, will you call for the motion, please?
Piety,
Yes.
Higg,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes,
Manker,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Weller,
Yes.
Fidstem,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you guys, and ladies too. And I think at some point here, we'll try to get you guys out there to us too, because nobody knows what we make out there. It's everything to a stone quarry, obviously. And you tell people we make animal feed products, and they're like, what? So at some point, we'll get together and have you guys come out and tour the plant and stuff and see what it's all about, because it's pretty unique out there for sure. So
That would be great. We appreciate
we'll
that.
stay in touch,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item B, we got case number SU 19-22, TPE ILL 177 Solar, and I think that's Alex. Yep, he's coming up. Thank you.
Pretty brief, few slides. This is the HDMI. I actually don't have a HDMI cable. Is there an HDMI? Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Hopefully I can put up a few slides as I talk through some things, unless, do you want me to hold this? Okay, thank you. Is that all right?
Mhm.
Thanks. Make sure everything's pulled up. Oh, big switch. All right. One more down. All right. Great. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks so much. Let's try again. There we go. All right. So, yeah, the name of this project is TPE ILLI 77, and I am from Turning Point Energy, which is a community solar developer. My name is Alex Mendelson, and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm sharing this slide that I've spoken about in the past few meetings for one purpose, and that's to highlight what's most important about this project to me, and that's community investment. That's the third bullet point there. Turning Point from companies that I've seen is a bit different in that we do a lot of work on the front end a lot of outreach, and then we stick through the projects to make sure that we're not just improving the ground or planting pollinators or increasing taxes, but we're actually making investments in what's important in the surrounding community. So our intent is, if we are approved tonight, is to continue that outreach, continue speaking to schools, continue learning what's important in Livingston County, and make a material donation to nonprofits as we've done across the country. Here are some examples. For some context, this is where the site is. It's at the intersection of East 2600 North Road, 170. And this is notable because you can see two houses there that are really close to the property. One to the north and one to the east. What we did on the front end is we said, well, we want to locate this as far away from the property to the north as possible. So we pulled it all the way south, as far south as possible. And then we spoke to the landowner himself. And initially he said, well, I don't like the location of the access road. That's that road that you can see going north. And can you move it 35 feet to the east? And so what we asked our engineers is, well, how far can we push it to the east? And the maximum distance that they got to, after speaking with the county and trying to reach out to the township, is 45 feet. So we went ahead and we moved that 45 feet to the east. That's as close to the intersection as was advisable under state guidelines to keep it about 200 feet away, and then trying to accommodate for that landowner's wishes as much as possible. I then spoke to the landowner again, and he had no objections to the project. You can also see that we're screening on the north there, the landscape buffer, screening on the east there, and then you'll see in your conditions there'll also be screening on the south, and there's existing landscaping as well that provides additional buffering on the south. This is a 4.5 megawatt array. The solar area itself, the area that the panels cover, is about 27 acres. It's a 38 acre parcel, and this will track with the sun as it moves across the sky. So this community solar array would be quiet and very screened. There would be no glare. We presented a glare study that showed no glare. It would improve soil quality and drainage. We're going to go ahead and replace the drain tile network underneath the solar array and make sure that everything functions well between the drain tiles that are underneath the system and mutual drains. We're going to plant pollinator plantings which have deeper root structures to increase the water infiltration into the soil. There'd be no long-term traffic, no water sewer usage, no permanent parking, no impact on adjacent property values. We got into details about a property value study in previous hearings. There'd be no noise generated at the property line, no emissions, very limited site lighting. We're talking about task lighting at the boxes that people work on to service the array. And then no flammable solar panels or racking equipment. And then there's that community investment plan that has begun and that we continue for here today. I spoke a little bit about pollinator plantings that we would plant. This is just some example on the right from Morton Arboretum in Illinois of types of pollinator plantings that would go under the array. What we'll do is we'll work with a landscape architect that we've been working with at Kimley Horn, and then we'll take the seed mix and work with your soil and water conservation district to refine that seed mix to make sure that it's a kind of pollinator seed mix that you'd want in the county. These are some of the benefits of the actual solar array. So it'll provide access to solar energy and a reduced cost to people who couldn't put solar on their roofs. Maybe they're renters, maybe they don't have a long enough roof warranty. It'll increase tax revenue greatly. Tax revenue in year one will go from about $754 for the entire year, as was previously measured and assessed, to over $30,000 in year one. And most notably, the bulk of that will go to the schools. It'll also be a job creator through construction, and then when the project operates, it'll be very low maintenance, won't generate traffic. And if the board would like to see it, I do have a 1-minute video showing an operating project that Turning Point Energy developed that also is a tracker, but if you don't have need, I won't take your time showing it. And I'm open for questions.
questions? Mr. Ritter?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, you said it's going to be a job creator. How many of those are going to be Livingston County jobs?
We endeavor to hire locally whenever possible, so
But is that possible? Are these trained positions that we do not have the trained personnel within our confines of Livingston County to do that?
So one of the neighbors that I spoke to was someone who actually does drain tiles locally. I did ask him if he'd be able to handle a project the size of this. He said that he would. We continue that kind of outreach, and I believe that the EPC that we would select, or our investors would select, would also. I will say one more thing, that he said his friends in the IBEW have experience with this kind of work, and the one requirement that we'll have with the electrical work is that they're Illinois licensed electricians. And so if they meet those characteristics and have done the work, I believe that we would be able to find people.
But you contract everything out. You don't do any of it yourself.
Correct.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes, you're talking about adding these employees. Are they permanent or temporary?
The job creation number is temporary.
And how long?
That's over a 12 to 18 month period.
Okay,
So the
thank you.
construction itself is 4 to 6 months. That's the bulk of the jobs because it's labor force.
Mhm.
And then there are some jobs related to engineering and environmental work.
Okay, thank you.
And then there will be long-term maintenance jobs, as Kyle reminded me.
Oh, there will be, okay.
Yeah, to make sure that we stay in compliance with Illinois noxious weed laws and to make sure that those native pollinator plantings get established appropriately.
Anybody else? Okay, therefore saying a motion to approve. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Who is that? Who's that?
Hearing and level. Any other discussion for anybody? Christine, call for roll, please.
Eddie?
Yes.
Haig?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Manker?
No.
Berkman?
Yes.
Ambrose?
No.
Bannon?
I'm going to vote no on this and all future solar and wind projects, in objection to the state of Illinois trying to dictate to local governments how they can do their zoning, so no.
Myers?
No.
Runyon?
No.
Mays?
No.
Weller?
Yes.
Fitstum?
Yes.
Blackard?
Yes.
Herring?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Ritter?
Yes.
12 ayes and 6 nays.
Okay.
Passed.
The landowners and I thank you very much, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next is zoning case SU-20-22 TPE IL L118 solar action. And I think, yep, he's up here now.
Good evening. My name is Scott Osborne. I'm a developer with TPE. It's a similar position to Alex as who just spoke. The project I'm working on, we call it LI-18. It's also here in your county, obviously. Several of you have already seen the presentations, and my presentation is very similar to Alex's. And in the interest of time, I will move through it as quickly as I possibly can. Alex went into this, the company overview, and our goals in investing in being good corporate citizens of the communities in which we're working, donating to charitable organizations that are making a difference. The project LI-18 is this triangle-shaped parcel here southeast of town That's on the north end is 1650 North Road, which I think is Torrance Avenue in town as it passes out into the county. That parcel is a half a mile east of Manlove Road. Property is owned by Henry Meese. As you can see, it's a triangle, and farming a triangle, it's an irregular shape, and so he has a number of point roads which decrease the efficiency of his farming operation for the parcel. This is the proposed layout of the array. The thicker dark line on the hypotenuse of the triangle is a vegetative screening line to reduce visibility to the neighbors, the occupants to the east. We also have a smaller line of this vegetative screening on the north end of the array to screen the view from the road. When the corn's grown in, I don't think anybody ever knows it's out there. We're looking at about 28 acres of panels on a 48-acre parcel. The parcel does have drain tile. We're aware of the drain tile, its locations. We'll have it surveyed in detail so that we know exactly where it is, and we won't do any damage to any mutual pipe running and affecting any neighbors. So we're going to be on top of that. We will excavate and relocate tile if necessary to avoid the anchors for the system on which the panels will be placed. It will be an active tracking system, as Alex mentioned, for his project, meaning the panels will tilt and follow the sun, remaining perpendicular to the sun as it travels across the sky. Interconnection to the power line. The power line runs along the hypotenuse of this triangle-shaped parcel, and it's a ComEd line. We will interconnect to the ComEd directly there on the property, not building off anywhere else outside of the property. These are the same points that Alex made. No glare, no reflection on neighbors on the roads or anything like that. No long-term traffic as it's maintained regularly. It may need maintenance only about once a month. A couple of guys in a pickup truck can do that maintenance, so we're not having a crew of people going back and forth regularly. No water, sewer, no parking. We did property value studies, and the studies all determined that we do not negatively affect property values. Nothing flammable on the site. There seems to be no reason for an emergency response out there. And we will use the pollinator mix, as Alex mentioned. We use this slide because it demonstrates this may not be the right mix for Illinois, but we use this slide to demonstrate that these plants, these flowers can grow under these panels. It's not fully shaded. As the panels tilt, the light will be able to allow the plants to grow. The plants will take hold in the soil, as our engineers will work with the Soil and Water Conservation District to make sure that we're not planting something that's not compatible, because that would be ridiculous. The intent is for the planting to allow the soil to absorb as much or more water as it does today with a crop in place. So we do not create a runoff issue, a sediment issue, a runoff, or any kind of flooding like that. The economics of this, the property currently pays about $6,800 a year in taxes to the county, according to the assessor's records, the treasurer's records. The project, this facility would pay $36,000 a year in year one, we estimate. That's not the precise number, it never is. And about 70% of that revenue ends up going to the schools, which I always think is a very important thing. As was previously mentioned, the customers who are renters, can't afford a system, don't want to cut a $20,000 check for solar on their roof, can sign up for a program like this and participate on a monthly basis or an annual basis under contract, and be able to buy green energy if they're so inclined. And it may be available to them at a discount. I think it will be. And so it allows customers to participate in that program. Whether they're renters or business owners or on a nicely shaded lot. So I think that just about covers the talking points for this project. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Questions, Mark?
Yeah, on that last slide you had up, if my math is correct, you said it's about 70%, a little bit more, that would go to the local schools, which would be the 2 school districts from Pontiac. Where would the other approximately 30% of the money go?
It goes into the county fund, into the fire district, or whichever other districts are out there, fire safety, roads, township. Off the top of my head, I don't recall the different tax districts that cover the parcel.
Becca?
So the customers that you mentioned that may or may not be able to get better bills by signing on to this, these would be ComEd customers in this area, is that correct?
I believe so. I don't live in a place that has an electric market where you can choose your provider, so I'm not 100% sure on how the program works. How are you familiar with that? It's just not something that I quite understand.
What lines are you tying into? Are they ComEd lines?
They are ComEd lines, but
Okay.
it was my understanding that ComEd provides delivery and that you may be able to buy electricity from other providers. Is that not the case?
I think it's just ComEd
Okay, well,
customers, but that's what I wanted to know. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
There are different structures of deregulated market. The way you regulate a utility market is wild, varies wildly. Yes, ma'am.
Is this acreage that you plan to use, is it currently farmed crops?
It is currently farmed.
Okay.
And the landowner, Mr. Mees, is here today. I believe it was corn last year? Yep. This year, corn this year.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else, questions? Okay, being said, motion to approve? Moved by Haig. Second by Jack. With that, Christie, roll call, please.
Bietti,
Yes.
Haig,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Manker,
Because of who the landowner is, I know them and they're very good people, I'm going to vote yes.
Barrickman,
Yes.
Ambrose,
No.
Bannon,
No.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
No.
Mays,
No.
Weller,
Yes.
Fidstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Harley,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
14 ayes and 4 nays.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Okay, our next on the agenda is zoning case ZT-3-23, zoning text amendment .com, solar energy utilities. This is for the solar part. We have Andrew Kite here tonight with us. Andrew, would you like to take this, please?
Okay, I'll try and be as brief as possible for you. It's- This one? Okay, that might be better. Okay, I'll try and be brief. If you have questions, I'm happy to entertain them. So before the county board tonight is text amendments on both the solar and wind ordinances of the county. As I think everybody knows, the state of Illinois has revised how siting of wind and solar projects is done, in the sense that they require counties to adopt certain criteria that the counties then have to incorporate into their ordinances. As the county, I think, is aware, there was an application from the county that was then made, and a public hearing was held pursuant to
the text amendment requirements of the Illinois Counties Code. So there was a zoning board of appeals hearing that took place. There were 2 nights of hearings on April 6th and April 10th in relation to the wind and solar ordinances. The ZBA made some adjustments to some of the language which then came to your Ag and Zoning Committee. That committee then made some further revisions based on the evidence that was presented during the Zoning Board of Appeals hearings. And that version, the version that went through the ZBA process and then with the committee's suggested revisions is before the county board tonight. Importantly, as part of the state statute, there is a time frame in which the county needs to revise its ordinance. That's 120 days from the time period the Governor Pritzker signed the statute into law. And that clock started on January 27th, which means your deadline to amend your ordinance is May 27th, which happens to be a Saturday. So May 26th is a Friday. So that's what's before you tonight. I am happy to take any questions. I'm happy to run through what the important changes are to the ordinance. But I'm happy to take it however the county board would like to do.
Anybody have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, what penalties are the state of Illinois threatening to county boards if they do not, like if we vote this down tonight? What are the?
That part is unknown. So, I mean, the reality is the state is probably not going around hawking on the counties in determining whether or not they've adjusted their ordinances. However, the reality is if you don't adjust your ordinance, you won't have any criteria in which to impose on a wind or solar project that comes through. The end result likely wouldn't be the state of Illinois filing some sort of action. It would be a developer filing some sort of action if you try to enforce your old ordinance or any sort of regulations onto a developer that was not in compliance with what the state criteria has held.
Anybody else? Do we have a motion to approve then? So moved by Hague. Who was that down there? Vidstum. Second. Roll call, Christie, please.
Is that for both of them or just the first
No,
one?
just one at a time. We're
Just
doing
the first
solar
one.
first.
Okay.
Oh, call discussion. Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, boy. So our committee worked really hard on this, and Mr. Kite, you did a great job in putting down the thoughts that we had and what measures that we possibly could put in here to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people of this county that the state gave us that we could do. In reading the resolution, I have no problems with any of it except for the bottom of the first page where it says it's in best interest of this county and the residents, which I absolutely do not agree with. As it was mentioned, I think by Mr. Fannin and by Mr. Kite, this is most of this stuff was mandated to us by not only the legislature, but developers themselves had a heavy hand in this. So I am going to vote yes on this, although I'm not happy at all about what they've taken away from the residents and the citizens of this county for their own health, safety, and welfare. I just wanted to throw that in there. I will be voting yes. However, I'm not happy about it, but I am happy about what the county did with what we had to work with. I am not happy with what the state and the developers have done.
Anybody else? Discussion. Go ahead, Michael.
I was just gonna say, this is, being new on the board, this has been a big function of what I've done the last few months, and it's been a real privilege to work with people on the zoning board and the zoning board committee, and I think we've done the best we can with what we were given to work with, so I think we did a real good job of putting together a pretty good program here, so.
Anybody else? Okay, Christie, roll call, please.
Okay. Vieri,
Yes.
Hegg,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Berkman,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Bannon,
No.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
Since I have to, yes.
Weller,
Yes.
Vidstum,
Yeah.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
and Ritter.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one is zoning case ZT-4-23, the text amendment for the wind. We're gonna turn that over to Andrew again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rather than restate everything I just said, same applies here. It's the same issue, the same statutory requirements that were imposed upon us from the solar side are also applicable here on the wind side. Same process took place, same zoning board of hearing, zoning board of appeals hearing took place. Committee made some recommended changes, which is before the board tonight. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions from the board? If no questions, do we have a motion? Vidstum and Ritter. Any discussion? Becca?
Just real fast. Basically, I'll say what Mr. Kite said, ditto. Except I will say, and what I forgot to say earlier, is that there were members of the public, of the United Citizens of Livingston County, that took part of this process in the ZBA. With their recommendations, anybody in the county could have done so. And I'm very happy to see that the ZBA did put in some of the things that the people of this county asked for in these ordinances. So I will be voting yes.
Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Right here.
Go ahead, Marty.
I will vote no again on this solely for the reason that the state of Illinois, we spent 2 years working on our code for wind. And I thought we did an absolutely fantastic job of getting public input and our own input and coming up with a very, very good code. And for the state of Illinois, the legislatures who have no idea what they're doing, but kowtowing to public entities that throw them money, and then turn around and tell us this is how you got to do it, and then give us a timeline that is ridiculous to get it done in 120 days when we know how long it takes to do this stuff. And that's why I'm voting no. I'm not voting no against the resolution. The resolution's fine.
Well,
But it's the fact that it went, well, yeah. But it's the fact that the way that it was given to us is completely wrong and unjustified, and I can't back it, and I will not vote for this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Christie, could we have roll call, please?
Vieri,
Yes.
Hegg,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Manker,
I'm not happy with the state of Illinois about this either, but I will vote yes.
Berkman,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Bannon,
No?
Myers,
being as it seems like we have no good alternative, yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
Once again, because I have to, yes.
Weller,
Yes.
Vidstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to say thanks to everybody that helped work on this. I mean, it wasn't, like Becca says, it wasn't just people on this county board, it wasn't just the people on the committee, it was everybody in the county. We tried hard and did what we had to do. Hopefully, we'll get time to change things that come in the opportunity in our favor with stuff they didn't realize down in Springfield, what was going on. And that's all I have to report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Herring, for your report, and appreciate all the effort put in by your committee. We'll move to Highway Committee, Chairman Steve Lovell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Clay's coming up to the podium. We only have letting results from April 27th and several bridge petitions. Clay?
Good evening. So we have a couple of bridge petitions. The letting results first, though, we had a box culvert that we bid on the Sullivan-Solomon Township line. Reaver Construction was the low bid on that. We had four bids turned in. The next item on the bridge petition was also on the township line between Nevada and Sunbury. This one is a bridge that we need to replace. We're going to look at possibly doing this with pipes before doing a study with an engineering firm prior to that to assure us on the drainage issue that might be there. And then the last one is another bridge petition on the Wego Road District, or in Wego Road District, for replacement of two 60-inch ERS pipes. That's all we have.
Any questions? Motion to approve. I'll make that motion. On all three items.
We will need a roll call vote on that, Kristen.
Bietti.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berrickman.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Vidstem.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes. And I've got one other item, and that'd be a building report that is current as of noon today. We had plumbers on site. We had heating contractors on site. We had viscering on site. We had the electrician on site. So it's coming along. And the doorman. Okay, I missed one. So we're moving along. So that's good news. Thank you, Clay. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Lovell, for that report. We'll now move to the Finance Committee. Marty Finn, Chair, and Marty, we certainly welcome you back. It's been a little bit since we've seen you. We're glad to have you here.
It's good to be back. We have one action item tonight, transferring management and remaining appropriations for bookkeeping. I think you guys have been through this. Moving the bookkeeping department, which currently falls under the county clerk's department, and moving it to finance will make everything run smoother. So I make that motion.
Second by Aaron.
We'll need a roll call vote on that.
Bietti.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Berrickman.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Vidstem.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have one other item to discuss tonight, and this is some great news. We got an award for the finance department. Here is the press release. Government Finance Officers Association is pleased to announce that Livingston County has received the GFOA's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for its budget. The award represents a significant achievement by the entity. It reflects the commitment of the governing body and staff to meeting the highest principles of government budgeting. In order to receive the budget award, the entity had to satisfy nationally recognized guidelines for effective budget presentation. These guidelines are designed to assess how well an entity's budget served as a policy document, financial plan, operational guide, and communications device. Budget documents must be rated proficient in all 4 categories in the 14 mandatory criteria within those categories to receive the award. There's only 265 counties in the U.S. that have received this, 7 in Illinois. So I say that I've talked about Diane and her staff before and our administrative team before and said how good they are. This is the proof in the pudding as how good our people are. 7 counties in this state, 265 in the United States have received this award, and we're one of them. And I think hats off to Diane and her company. I was pleased that this was one of the things that was thrown on my plate when I got back. They actually saved it for me. So I was so appreciative, and when I heard the news, boy, I was just tickled pink, because this is really goes to show how hard our people work in the job that they're doing. And it's good to be able to sit up here and recognize our staff for the job that they do. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Fannin. I just would like to reiterate what you said. Thanks to our finance department and the ladies involved, our management team. You ladies do a great job. I'd like to also think that we as the board have some input to help too. But the citizens of Livingston County, if they don't realize it, they should. That from a financial standpoint, the way things function, we're pretty blessed. So I think we hear the opposite many times. Let's move to Sheriff, Jail, and License Committee. Bob Weller, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, that will be a hard act to follow. And welcome back, Mr. Fannin, from your International Relations Committee assignments.
Thank you, sir.
The Sheriff's Committee, of course, met last week at our regular meeting. Had the monthly department reports, the animal control, the proactive, the regular reports. Regarding the jail and the housing, we had 21 feds from the north, 60 from the central, 1 from Indiana, and 3 Cook County, for a total out-of-county residents visiting our facility of 85. Livingston County, we had another 74 for a total at that time of 159. Our billings remain steady at just short of $300,000 a month. Superintendent Draper remarked on they have started some activity groups within the facility. There's an anger management group which has been averaging about 14 persons per week. The substance abuse group about 9 persons a week, and a women's group which has had attendance of approximately 10 per week. In addition to that, I had the distinct honor and privilege of joining Sheriff Baum and Superintendent Draper and Lieutenant Arbin in going down to Belleville and watching 2 of our COs graduate from training, Alexia Long and Brian Brentley. In addition to that, Sheriff, Superintendent, and Lieutenant, I appreciate the fact that you come to these meetings and show the interest to be here and be available. So keep up the good work. We're very proud of you. And that concludes my report, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Weller. And I agree, our Sheriff's Department is doing a great job and we appreciate them. So, and again, thanks for attending the meetings. We'll move to Information and Technology Committee. Gina Manker, Chair.
The IT committee did not meet this month, but we will in June. I know that John Sear has ordered the virtual server update, and that should be coming soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Manker. We'll move to Public Property Committee. John Vidstam, Chair.
Phase 2 of our Health Department, the parking lot stuff is in progress out there. We're still working on the drive-up facility. A few little bugs yet in our new health building, but we're still working on them. Outside of that, the regular maintenance that we've had, that's about all I got.
Thank you, Chairman Vidstam. Oh, sorry, we have a question for you, Chairman Vidstam. Please go ahead, Linda.
Okay. I was not able to attend the property meeting, so I do want to say I'm going off somebody else's notes. On the new drive-up facility, I know we're talking about it not being just for the health department, but also like Christie will possibly use it for elections, et cetera. A new one that was in the notes was that we would possibly be using this as a disaster location when we have disasters in the county. And I was wondering, have we checked out what the FEMA qualifications are? Because I know we've gone with the design build to try and get the price down on it, and we were able to cut down and just have one bathroom. Have we checked out with FEMA that having just one building, one bathroom in the building, in other things, I don't know what the FEMA qualifications are. Are we checking into that so that, like we've had trouble with the Law and Justice Center and having to go back and correct things and retrofit things? So I didn't know if those things had been checked out.
I may defer this to Elena, but we're going by what the architect has told us as far as what you said about the restrooms and stuff. We've asked him that more than, several times to double check that. Now, when you talk about the FEMA part, that's where I'm gonna hand it over to that lady over there.
No, we have not.
I didn't think I heard that name come up, but I did now.
Well, this was just the first time that I'd heard that possibly it could be used for a disaster building also.
Yeah, so not speaking about communication center type of thing, we would still utilize the other spaces that have been identified depending on the type of emergency. Yeah, I would need Jackie to explain a little bit more what they were intending to use it for. Emergency purposes only in that case, not the main criteria, so not really designed for that.
Alina, I might be wrong, but I thought it was more for distribution of certain
Supplies.
supplies.
Is what she was talking
That's what it
about
is. We're not housing anybody there.
Correct.
Okay, just to make sure we're following and jumping through all
Sure.
of their
Gina?
hoops also.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's exactly what she meant, is by distributing supplies from that building and also maybe a command center, but not used as a shelter.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Vidston? Okay, thank you, Chairman Vidston. We'll move to Rules, Legislation, Veterans, and Community Service Committee, Chairman Jack Vietti.
Thank you, Chairman. We had our meeting here tonight, and we approved some fine, outstanding community people of the community, including myself, and that's my report. Thank you. Other than that, that's it. No more.
Thank you, Chairman Vietti. Move to the Administrative Committee, which I am the chair. Most of the things that I would want to touch base on, we've already talked about, basically the bookkeeping transfer from the county clerk's office to the finance department. Also, we're still trying to get our Facebook page under control. I think we're working on that. I think we're doing better. Do you want to comment on that, Alina?
It is up and running. I would just encourage anybody who hasn't done so already to follow our page. It's Livingston County, Illinois. And if you can unfollow the old page, that would be great. We have reported it as a fake account, but we'll see where that goes. So.
Other than that, we had one thing that was a little bit unfortunate. Don't even know if we need to mention it, but I will. We had a new squad car that got totally equipped, and unfortunately, when we had driven it to the place to put the inside workings into it, they'd finished all that off. We went to pick it up, and on the way back, it was in an accident. I think a truck hit it or something, and the vehicle's been totaled. So sadly enough, we don't have that vehicle. So we had a fully equipped vehicle, brand new, that we never really got to use. Didn't make it back. So not our fault, okay, as I understand it. So unfortunately, that's another delay in getting another squad car. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody, the committee of Ag and Zoning, and all the board members. I think we've had a lot of issues with the wind and the solar, and I've said this before, but I ask for people to be respectful. I think that's happened. I think we've had dialogue, and I think people have done it respectfully. It's been a very challenging thing. I think we've got things worked out to the best that we possibly could with the state's unfortunate involvement. And so, again, I thank everybody for respecting each other's opinions and doing that in a worthwhile way. So that concludes my report. And we're going to now move to public comment, so which we will again, limit speakers to 3 minutes and 30 minutes total, but if somebody has a public comment, please come forward and state your name.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Runyon.
Yes, I would like to publicly thank everyone, my fellow county board members and the public, for their text, emails, phone calls, cards, and verbal expressions of condolence to my wife and myself. The outpouring of support was greatly appreciated, and I want to personally thank County Board Chairman James Carley for his touching text that he sent me. Thank you to everyone for helping my wife and I get through this very painful time.
Is there any other public comment?
Okay, hello everybody. First, I want to just say I'm praying for you guys. I think there's 17. I tried to count. It's very hard to see your names. It's very hard in the back to know who's speaking, but people are praying. Okay, I am praying for you.
Can you please state your name? I hate to interrupt you.
Okay,
State your name.
Kia Whitney. Okay, Blackstone, Illinois.
Thank you.
Sure. I want to just make a few things that you may not be aware of, just things that kind of make me say, I'm involved in this whole solar power plant issue because there's one near me that will be on your agenda in 2 weeks. The ZBA, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the chairperson is a ComEd attorney, and that seems to be, that would seem to be a conflict of interest. So if you don't know, I just want to throw that out there. Second thing, I wonder if there are other conflicts of interest. Are there any like RPC, ZBA, I don't know I'm trying to get all the acronyms correct, but county board members or their families who might be benefiting financially in any way from these solar power plants. That again would be a conflict of interest, something that needs to be disclosed. I don't see much questioning, pushing back on these companies, and they hightailed it out of here. I would have loved to ask them some questions also. So I want to throw that out there. Also, I said this at one point, I would be so grateful, and I think that there are many other people who would be grateful for just a good old-fashioned town hall meeting. Yes, it's not a town, but a county, but I think you know what I mean. We don't know you. We don't know what you think. I can barely read, the agenda that's up there. It's hard to follow along. I didn't even know about this meeting until, I think it was about 3 o'clock. I know you have a Facebook page, so that's a step. Sorry, not on Facebook. But there's got to be more done, okay? It's 2023. If you need the public to help, okay, I've got a really techie son, okay? He probably could whip it out really quickly. Also, just to throw this out there, you're not at all considering the health risks in these solar things going up. No one seems to be asking questions. And I know my time is very short. I want to say thank you, Mr. Fannin. I've never met you, but thank you for what you shared. Thank you for taking a stand and not being afraid to say no, because some things are just wrong. And I do want to end with this. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Okay? And that's about it. Thank you so much. Okay? Praying for you guys.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment?
I'd like to comment.
Mr. Herring?
Yes, you relate to our schedule. It's online all the time. And if you have computers at home, you should be able, this is there every week, everything that goes on in the county. And Elena could probably help you with the site that to get it off of. But also the other thing is, you talk about people in the county not getting anything out of this. Well, everybody in the county gets something out of these solar projects, the schools, everything else. I mean, I'm sorry to say, it just don't go to certain people. It goes to everybody, county taxes and stuff like that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that needs to make a comment, public comment? Seeing none, I don't think, we're not going to have executive sessions. I see no action resulting, so we're at the closing ceremony. So we need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Fannin, second by Ritter. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Our next meeting is Thursday, June 15th at 6 p.m. in this room. That is Thursday, June 15th, 6 p.m.